then a few minutes later, the nurse who's kind of taken down all our details and all that kind of said, ගිහිල්ලා ඔයගලන් ගිහිල්ලා මේ කවුරුත් නැති ඇඳක් ගන්න. So like, okay, got my shit together. Me, the believer, and a few others got up, looked around, walked to the middle of the ward and found two beds next to each other that were empty. I thought, okay, let's hang out here. Right? But then, when we looked at the beds, right, I mean, fucking hell, it was still the sheet on both beds were just covered in like splotches of blood, right? And I'm looking at it thinking, what the fuck is going on here, right? It's not even been cleaned or like anything. So me and the believer are just holding our bags like, what do we do here? Kind of thing. And I thought, okay, so obviously we need to get someone to fucking come and like change the sheets and shit. So we put our bags on the little locker like number that's next to the bed, and we just stand there. Luckily both of us had our phones, so we were kind of keeping ourselves occupied till we were able to get the attention of an orderly to come and sort shit out, right? But that took like 30 minutes at least. So we were just standing there with our phones, waiting, looking at the bed. Okay, it looked fucking scary. I don't know who the hell was on that bed before me, but he was bleeding. He had multiple wounds, obviously, because there was some at the edge of the bed, some at the head of the bed. Fucking, it was some of those other horror movie numbers. So he's sitting there. So finally, an orderly comes around. We are like, make about duck, make it a Malay, make a sukkah. Yeah, so then he was like, hurry, and then he fucking walks off. And then he's gone for probably like another 15 minutes. At which point the believer and I was like, let's go and like see what the fuck is going on, kind of thing. So then he went up to the desk again and said like, you do something here. And then the orderly comes down saying, hey, yo sir, and sheet and then then he went into some room, came out with two sheets, went to our beds, and he said, galala then. So basically I had to take that blood soaked sheet off the bed and hand it to him, and then he handed me the new one, which when I put it on the bed was basically torn from left to right in the middle. And I was like, okay. Okay, so that's what I'm getting. And then I'm thinking, well, he didn't even like bother to like sanitize the bucket, like the bed, like spray some shit on there, wipe it down, something. No, nothing of the sort. So then I was like, I had to tell myself, you wanted this experience, so now fucking get on with it. And that I had to keep doing to myself constantly. I mean, through this whole thing I had to keep telling myself, you wanted this, now fucking go through it, fucking take it and shut up, right? So pulled the sheet out, gave it to him, he gave me a new one, put that thing on there, and then I realized, oh shit, there is no pillow on this bed. So the Billy, when I sorted our beds out, he had a pillow, I didn't. I was like, fuck it. I mean, at some point today I will sort that shit out. I'll get him to give me a fucking pillow or whatnot. Put a call into my wife and said, okay, bring some sheets. Okay, so this thing, so I didn't know. People who've been to government hospital would know that you should take your sheets, like 2 or 3, just to be on the safe side. Some pillowcases, take your shit, because they don't seem to be well funded, obviously, for those kinds of things. And of course, I think the amount of people that bleed on those sheets, I think they must be going through sheets like nobody's business. So it's a tip, if you're ever going in, make sure you take your shit with you, because you probably won't get anything decent to put in a bed and to lie on. So keep that in mind. So we set our beds up, whatever, uh, get on it and hang. Because as I said before, we are still waiting for like the main doctor who's going to be doing these surgeries to come and kind of talk to us, do his examinations, and all that kind of stuff. So it was time to just chill in bed. At which point I realized that I was basically in front of the screamer. And then I was able to see kind of what state he was in. So this guy, a young fellow, he's probably about 24, 26 maybe. Uh, both legs completely bandaged up to the waist, both legs. One of his arms are also bandaged. Back of his head had a huge plaster on it. So the bug has been through something, which explains the kind of pain that the guy was in when he was screaming. So I saw who he was. Kind of realized I was right there. So from that point, just like looked around, see who else was in there. It was interesting because interesting, I say, but not in a good or bad way. It's just that you look at different people on different beds with different problems, right? There's a guy in the far left corner which had one of his arms fully plastered, shoulder to wrist. And that's a normal thing, right, to see people with plasters on their hands. But the cast on his arm was like that big. It was fucking, it was like, if you know what the Hulkbuster Iron Man outfit costume is, it was like that. It was my size. The plaster was like fucking that big, right? And I was thinking, what the fuck happened to him to have that much of a fucking plaster on his arm and a few other little bumps and things on his body as well. And I was thinking, as time goes by, while I'm here for like 1.5, 2 days, I kind of figure those things out, find out what went on, and so on. So there are lots of different characters in there. Kind of get to them as we go along in this thing. So for the moment, we were just waiting, and then we hear a nurse screaming, not screaming, saying, "Get operation kattiya, commenda." I was like, okay, so operation is fucking tomorrow, not today. So the whole of this day that is expecting to be operated on is going to be like a just stay in hospital kind of number, which I later realized that it's all about doing multiple different tests like ECGs and all kinds of different things, right, before you go into op. So the doctors turned up, so he wants to kind of examine everybody he's supposed to be operating on the next day. So it wasn't like one operation, 2 operations. I think he was doing probably like 15 in like one sitting, and we were just part of that. We were just a number in that batch of patients. So he comes over, takes one by one into a little examination room in the ward itself. Wait for your name to be called, go in there. And when my time turns up, I walk in and I look at the bed that's in there and I was like, holy fuck. I mean, that looked like people have fucking died on it. It was filthy as fuck. The floor was filthy, the entire fucking thing was filthy, the bed was filthy, the sheets, the pillow, like everything was like something you would not fucking touch. And I'm standing next to thinking, you want me to fucking lie down on this? Of course, I wasn't saying that shit. In my head, I was like, And then again, like I said before, I had to remind myself, you fucking wanted this, right? So now shut the fuck up and get on the fucking bed. And oh, fuck. So then the orderly comes, go, nagin. And then nagal hands and I was like, oh, fuck. So I got on the bed. I mean, my sarong, right? So he's gonna fucking examine me. So I had to like, undo the sarong, put it down a little bit, trying to keep some fucking dignity. What fucking dignity? So doctor walks in with a trainee fucking female doctor, and he and I pulled it down a little bit just to reveal where the hernia was. He just comes in, sarong down to my fucking knees. I'm like, fantastic. Like, yeah, family jewels, everything, just like, woohoo, there you go. And this female doctor saying, this shit is normal, but when it happens to you, it doesn't feel like that, right? So they're like, and he's like, oh, yeah, this is what it is. Look at this, and he's like poking it. Luckily, I wasn't in pain because it's like a really early kind of stage hernia thing. So I was not in any pain. I just had this bump. So he's like poking it, saying, look at this, feel the way it moves, and I'm like, oh, fantastic. And then he gets a female nurse also to like poke it and feel it and how it moves. I was like, oh, fuck, yeah. Shitty bed, showing my junk to people. But I guess that's how it goes, right? And then he's like, all right, okay, you can get up. And I got up and I was thinking, I need to walk into one of those, those machines that you kind of completely sanitize yourself with. They have those sprays. I needed one of those. The hand sanitizer wasn't gonna cut it, but obviously there wasn't one of those. So I just like got off bed, dusted myself off, and went back to my bed, which is not a lot better than this one.